Hey guys, we're starting something a little new today. We've been adding and subtracting fractions all last week, but this week we're going to add fractions that have an unlike denominator. Of course, the denominator, you know, is the number on the bottom. And so the only denominators we're going to look at for the next couple days are 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 10. And so you're going to see this is not really that hard. You can do this easily. What you have to think with me is equivalent fractions, okay? So as you can see, we've got a 4 and an 8, or we might have a 4 and a 12. When it was 1/2 plus 1/2, it was easy. We just did 1 plus 1 is 2 over 2, right? 2 halves. But we don't have the same fractions, and so you can't add like that. You've got to have the same number on the bottom to be able to add. And so what we're going to do today is make one of the fractions have the same bottom number, the same denominator as the other fraction. So you can't make an 8 of 4. So when we look at these, we're going to make the smaller one an equivalent fraction with this bigger denominator instead. So in other words, what we're doing is we're making 1/4 something eighths, okay? So we know how to do this. We worked hard on equivalent fractions. So how do I make 1/4 something equal to 1/8, an equivalent fraction? Well, 4 times 2 is 8. What's 1 times 2? 1 times 2 is 2. So now I've changed this 1/4 into 2/8. And now this looks just like what we did last week. 2/8 plus 1/8 is what? 3/8. All right, so we can handle this, can't we? Let's move right on. 1/4 plus 1/12. I'm going to change this 4th into a 12th. Think equivalent fractions. What times 4 gives me 12? 3 times 4 is 12. Got to do the same thing to the top. 3 times 1 is 3. So an equivalent fraction for 1/4 is 3/12. Now we can add 3/12 plus 1/12 is 4/12. All right. Got that? This is not so hard at all. Next one, 2/6 plus 1/3. This time we've got to change this 3 into a 6. So how do I do that? 3 times 2 is 6. 1 times 2 is 2. So I have an equivalent fraction. 1/3 is the same as 2/6. And now I can add because we have a like denominator, common denominator. They're the same denominator on the bottom. So 2/6 plus 2/6 is 4/6. All right. Let's go to the next few. We've got several we're going to work on today as examples. 1/2 and 3/8. I'm going to turn this 2 into an 8. Okay. So how do I turn a 2 into an 8? I'll write it this time. You got to multiply it by 4. Whatever you do to the bottom, you've got to do to the top. Just remember, 1 times 4 is 4. So 4/8 is equal to 1/2. We know that, don't we? We looked at how you can tell if the top number is half of the bottom number, it's equal to 1/2. So now we can do 4/8 plus 3/8 is 7/8. The key in all that you're doing today and tomorrow is making sure you get the same denominator, same number on the bottom. You just have to multiply by something to figure out how to do it. All right, 3/10 and 3/5. So we've got to make this 5/10. So how are we going to do that? We multiply times 2, right? 5 times 2 is 10. Do the same thing to the top. 3 times 2 is 6. So now I have 3/10 and 6/10. That is 9/10. Okay, 2/3 and 2/9. Let's turn this 3 into a 9. Okay, I'm going to do 3 times 3 is 9. 2 times 3 is 6. So 6/9 is equivalent to 2/3. And now we can add 6/9 plus 2/9 is 8/9. Are you getting the hang of this? All right. We saw some examples of drawing them and using number lines. We've worked on all that. Today, I just want you to focus on finding a common denominator. Even though the directions say draw a number line, I'm not worried about that today. I want you to practice finding this common denominator today. Okay? So we got 1/2 plus 1/4. We're going to make this 2 a 4. All right. 2 times 2 is 4. 1 times 2 is 2. So 2/4 is equivalent to 1/2. And now we've got fourth on the bottom. So 2/4 plus 1/4 is 3/4. All right. Moving ahead. Like I said, we've got several to work together today. 1/2 and 4/10. This time I've got to make a 2 a 10. All right, so I'm going to draw this one. 2 times 5 would give me 10, wouldn't it? 1 times 5, what's that going to give me for the top number, the numerator? It's going to give me 5/10. So now I show that 5/10 is equal to 1/2, and I can add across. So 5/10 plus 4/10 is 9/10. Okay, next problem. We've got a 1/2 turn into a 1/10 again. So we know we're going to multiply by 5. 2 times 5 is 10. 1 times 5 would be 5. So 1/2 and 5/10 are equivalent fractions. I can add 6/10 plus 5/10 and I get, 11/10. What do we need to do when we have a bigger number on top than we do on the bottom? We need to decompose that into 10/10 and 1/10 more. Remember how we did that? 10 plus 1 is 11/10. And what does 10/10 equal? It's 1, and then we have 1/10 more. So go ahead and decompose those if you get a bigger number on the top today. Okay, moving ahead. We've got 2/3 and 3/6. We're going to make this 3 a 6. 3 times 2 is 6. 2 times 2, whatever you do on the bottom, you got to do on the top. 2 times 2 is 4. So now I have 4/6 plus 3/6, which gives me 7/6. Let's decompose that again, make it 6/6 and 1/6 more because 6 plus 1 would be 7/6. So 6/6 is 1 and 1/6 more. Okay, so just a little extra step if you've got an improper fraction there. 3/4 and 6/8. All right, we're going to make this 4 and 8. 4 times 2 is 8. 3 times 2 is 6. So 3/4 and 6/8 are equivalent fractions. And now I can add because I have 8s. 6/8 plus 6/8 would give me 12/8. Another improper fraction. Let's decompose it into 8/8 and 4/8 because 8 plus 4 is 12/8. 8/8 is 1, and we have 4/8 more. Okay, next problem. 4/10 and 6/5. We already got an improper fraction here. We're going to make this 5ths a 10th. 5 times 2 is 10. 6 times 2 is 12. So 12/10 is equivalent to 6/5. And now I can add 4/10 plus 12/10. That would be 16/10. Let's decompose it since it's an improper fraction. 16/10, we'll split it into 10/10 to make 1 and 6/10 more. So that equals 1 and 6/10. You think you got this? I think you'll do great. We've got a couple more to work on here. Maybe one more anyway. And then we'll be done. This one says solve it without drawing a model. We've already been doing that, so we're good. Okay, so 3 times 2 is 6. We had to make it 6 here. 2 times 2 is 4. 4/6 plus 4/6 is 8/6. Improper fraction. Let's decompose it. Why do they give us so many of these? 6/6 and 2/6 more would be 8/6. So that equals 1 and 2/6. All right, I think you'll do great on this today. It's the first day we've done this, but not really because we've worked on equivalent fractions many days. So I think you'll be able to do just fine. Let's get to work on it, and we'll talk about it in our meet if you have any problems at all. See you then.